about something. It's a question. It's a question that a lot of us have. You'll start to see something appear. Go ahead and shout it out whenever you see it. A little louder. I can't hear you. Yeah, I heard it. And so, you know, a lot of us kind of wonder, why are we here? What's the point in us being here? And so, you know, one thing a lot of people may think is that education is the meaning of life. And although education is very important, my grandma, when I was younger, she always would tell me, she'd say, now Jenna, you need to get yourself a good education so that you can support yourself, so someday you don't have to rely on anyone else to take care of you. And yes, this is very important, but education only goes so far. I mean, Albert Einstein, he was a genius, but he still struggled, and he never really found that true meaning. He had died before he found it. And so this leads to the next point, which is the next thing that a lot of people may try to find their meaning in, and that would be money. And growing up, I've always seen material things as, you know, it's fun, it's neat to get something new. I've always, you know, when I was little, I would think, if I just had that laptop computer, how cool would that be? And I would get so excited. But I found myself always wanting more. And it never really satisfied me. I would just keep wanting and wanting and wanting. And so the last thing that we often try to find meaning in would be relationships and human relationships. But the statistic today is that 50% of marriages end in divorce. And so there's something broken in that relationship. Now the first relationship, the one that was perfect, you'll start to see something appear. That relationship was with God. God created Adam, and that was the first relationship ever, and it was perfect. But something ruined that relationship. And that, a lot of us hear about it. We may not always understand what it is, but we've at least heard of it. That is sin. And let me just get a little bit about what sin is. It's anything that we say, think, or do that displeases and hurts God. And so, in these relationships here, when we hurt or displease our partner, it separates us, and it kind of makes things awkward for a while, and you want to get that back together, but there's something there. And so, as you can see, sin, has anyone here ever told a lie, even a little one? I know that I have. Anybody? Well, just by doing one lie, that's a sin. And so, that separated us from God. So we have tried to get to God, but we can't because we're imperfect. We have that sin, and it blocks us. But God loved us so much. He created us. He made a way. He came to us, and He gave the perfect sacrifice. There's two choices, guys. God said that there had to be a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice, and it would either be us when we die someday, which we're all going to die, but we could either go to hell, which would be that sacrifice, or He provided one for us because He loved us so much. He sent His one and only Son, who was perfect, the perfect sacrifice, never did anything wrong. And He had to shed His blood so that each and every one of us, if we chose to accept Him, we could have that way to be reunited, have that relationship with Him today. And so, if you guys want that relationship, that and you want to know that you can with God in heaven, when you die, you have to turn to God and know that I sinned and I know that I do wrong. And then you need to trust in Him that His sacrifice is more than sufficient and His grace on us is more than sufficient to pay that price. And the one thing you may say, okay, He died. But that one thing that's would be that on the third day after He had died, He had risen and defeated sin and defeated death so that each and every one of us could be with him. If you guys have any questions, we have a couple booklets, and there's a couple people